you know, we're all here to talk about St. Patrick's Day 2022. Thank you for your attendance. We are going to share with you today some critical information that you can help pass on to your viewership, and we appreciate you being here for that reason. We have a great celebration planned. Our community deserves one after a 2-year hiatus. We're all looking forward to a beautiful day in Savannah. And I just want to run down some of the key timelines for that day. You know, we've all seen it. Our squares are very popular. Our squares do not open, though, until Thursday morning at 6 a.m. That's the morning of the parade at 6 a.m. So we encourage people to stay home until then. They can come to the squares at 6. If you live downtown and you are parked along the parade route, you need to have your vehicle removed by 6 a.m. We start closing those streets at 6 a.m. And depending on where you are along the parade route, you need to bank on that 6 a.m. cutoff, right? So please move your vehicles. There will be plenty of signage out there letting you know and reminding you, but make sure those vehicles are removed. The parade starts at 10:15 a.m. and the parade ends, as we all know, this can fluctuate, which is why we put 2:15 to 3 p.m. You all know that it's somewhat of a smaller parade this year due to COVID and other reasons, and so we think that will end up between 2:15 and 3 in the afternoon. And we're extremely efficient with this. When the parade closes, our sanitation and greenscapes crews do a great job of getting right behind that parade and cleaning up. And as they do clean up, our police comes right behind them and starts to open up our streets. So there will be a rolling timeline of when those streets will be open. However, right after the parade ends, that's when we begin doing that. So parade ends, sanitation comes through, police start opening the streets. On-street food trucks will be available. This will be on what is known as the Strand, on the north side of Bay Street, between Whitaker and Barnard Streets. We'll have about 6 food trucks out there providing, local food trucks I would add, providing food sources for individuals up until midnight on St. Patrick's Day. The bars will close as they normally do at 2:55 a.m. on Friday morning. And importantly, River Street will be closed every day at 10 a.m. I want to go over a few reminders or changes of this year's celebration. As you know, City Council adopted a resolution 2 weeks ago to enact some of these changes. The first is no out-of-town motor coaches will be able to park within what we are calling our To-Go Cup zone. I will give you that map in a few seconds, but essentially it's from River Street to Victory Drive, from MLK to Truman Parkway. So if a motor coach wants to operate in Savannah or come to Savannah that day, they have to make accommodation to park outside of that zone. No on-street alcohol vendors or entertainment. In years past, we've had that down on River Street. This year, our focus is on local business. We want local businesses to have the opportunity to have the economic advantage of the number of people that are here in town. So we will not be providing any on-street alcohol or entertainment that would compete with any local business trying to sell the alcohol to those patrons. In addition to that, I've mentioned the local food trucks a few minutes ago, but those folks will be available up until midnight on St. Patrick's Day. This is the expanded To-Go Cup zone. I think most of you have seen this map by now. This essentially bars and restaurants that have an alcohol license that is current, they will be able to provide To-Go Cups to their patrons between 8 a.m. on St. Patrick's Day morning, March 17th, through 2:55 a.m. on March 18th, that Friday, when bars normally close. I'd like to now ask Jean Pravat, our Chief of Sanitation, to come up and fill you in on some of our sanitation efforts during the celebration.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jean Pravat, Senior Director of Sanitation Department. We want everyone to have a very safe and very clean St. Patrick's experience. To that end, Team Sanitation will mobilize in force at 3 a.m. on St. Patrick's morning. We will come down into the downtown area and scour the parade route make it shine. We will be putting out additional containers in all the parks and disposable containers all along the parade route. We ask everyone to help us keep the city clean by using those containers. Better yet, bring your own trash bags with you, because you'll add it to pack it in, pack it out. So if you bring it or buy it, take your trash with you. We ask everyone to please leave your styrofoam coolers and containers at home. These things break into many pieces and they're very hard to get up. We would also ask that all of our commercial establishments and any parties on private property follow the regular waste protocols. Keep it on your property and put it in your regular collection point so that it can be picked up. Do not put it in the public right of way. And then the last thing, very important, at the very end of the parade, we begin the cleanup and our sweepers will be following very closely behind the last entry. We ask everyone to please be mindful of that. Don't turn your back on the sweeper, and please stay on the curb until they've all passed. Oh, I beg your pardon, Gordon Denny from Greenscape.
Good afternoon. So Greenscapes is tasked with making sure that we maintain the beauty of the squares, not just during the parade, but also after the parade. So to that end, what we will be doing is, as we have in years past, we plan to put out orange fencing to protect our planted areas. We plan to have our staff come in the morning of and do a once-through cleaning. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I had the there's a perfect example. So we will do a once-through cleaning to make sure everything is in shape. We'll have staff positioned throughout in the squares to make sure that we keep clean the litter as best we can, removing trash can, bags, making sure we keep up with that. And then afterwards, our staff comes in and does the once-through that cleans everything up that's left afterwards. Really, the only thing we're going to add is just to reiterate over and over what Gene had said earlier. You pack it in, pack it out. You know, that helps us tremendously for you to take your trash with you. It's less for us to have to pick up. And again, just to make sure that we leave it in a condition that others can enjoy it after the parade, just like you did. So that'll turn it back to Susan.
It's illegal to litter in the city of Savannah, and if you do it, you will be fined $50 at a minimum. I want you to take a look at the photographs in this slide. We have, we're a national landmark district. We have beautiful streets and squares. We welcome our visitors. We want you to come here and enjoy your time here. But this is not acceptable, and it won't be accepted. And we will be enforcing ordinances around litter so that you are responsible, as Mr. Pravat and Mr. Denny explained previously, for packing it in and packing it out. You know, most of you in the media that have been working with me for years, you know I've been saying keep the green on St. Patrick's Day. We've tried to make this happen. Our sanitation department puts out recycle bins and trash bins in the squares, as do our greenscapes folks. In fact, the parade committee even hands out additional bags for people. There's no excuse to litter and to trample on our landscaping and our beautiful squares and streets. So we ask our city, our community, our residents, and our visitors to work with us to take care of these priceless jewels that we have to enjoy. So please don't litter. Let's take a photograph this year that looks nothing like this. And I think we can all enjoy that a little bit more. And it's not just about resources. It's about taking pride in your community. So we ask our community to take pride and work with us so that we can keep having this and it keeps continuing to be a beautiful celebration for Savannah. Thank you. And at this time, we are available to answer any questions that you might have about what we have presented today.
Susan, lists of prohibited items and stores. I know we experienced that at Chippewa.
Yes.
Going into, I believe it was the 2019 celebration. Of course, 2020 we year off. Can we expect that to be the same and expanded this year for other squares?
I will tell you that litter and cleanliness is at the top of our list this year. Obviously, public safety is always at the very tip top, but cleanliness and litter is right there. You know, Gene mentioned styrofoam. Another is glass. I can't tell you what a hazard this is, and people continue to bring liquor and other items in glass. Please do not do it. Do not set up, we ask people to enjoy themselves, have a picnic, what have you. Don't set up an outside bar with a bunch of glass bottles. So we ask that you come in, if you have a tent, that you leave your tent. You wouldn't believe in the past, we've had, in one square, people would leave 8 to 10 tents, just walk away from them. So if you have a tent, you need to bring it, you need to take it. If you have a small table, that's fine for picnic type items, but we are not, like I said, not allowing any glass, or not allowing any styrofoam. And we will be, obviously there will be police and city marshals in each square monitoring that activity there so that we can really see where the litter's coming from and ensure that all the other city ordinances are followed. Gordon, I don't know if you would like to add anything to that relative to squares?
The only thing I'd add is, the only thing I would add to that is that we ask that when you come into the square to claim your space for the parade, you don't use orange fencing to block off your space. It confuses people. They see our fencing, they think it can be taken down to walk in and out because they see other fencing taken down. So we ask that you don't use that to reserve your space.
And the orange fencing and the ropes that Greenscape's put up are there for a reason. Okay, it's to block off areas where we don't want you to walk because we have landscaping there and we want to give it a chance to grow.
Perhaps a question for Jean. The expanded to-go cup area for the 17th. Will there be an adjustment to street sweeping schedules in those more residential areas to take care of any litter that might pop up with more folks walking around with to-go containers who might perhaps not find a trash can and just toss it on the street?
We will be assessing conditions after the event and seeing if we need to make extra effort to get into places. By and large, on the street cleaning cycles, we will maintain a regular schedule.
And any changes, residents will be notified if they need to get their cars out of the way so you don't complain.
The parking prohibition is only in certain zones at certain times. We will not change that. So that's a good point. This event's a little different from others in that it's a much broader area. It might take us a little longer to get it all completely done, but we sweep on our weeklies, obviously, a week apart, so it might take a few days to get it all up.
So asking for patience for those.
Absolutely. And by the way, if you see it, there's nothing that says you can't pick it up and put it in your own trash.
Any expansion of garbage cans, recycling containers in the expanded to-go cup zone for the Hyundai?
Not beyond the regular parade area. We will put carts in the squares. We'll put the paper trim town bags along the parking meters on the parade route, but nothing beyond that. We will come in the day after, again at 3 a.m. to clean up. That points out one of the reasons for helping us clean up, because in addition to the day after St. Patrick's Day cleanup, we have a full day's collection in the city to take care of, and actually that's our biggest day of the week. So please help us. Yes, ma'am.
In regards to cleanup, I know you're talking about the day of St. Patrick's and the day after, but what about the weekend? Obviously, people are going to want to stay throughout the weekend and keep people.
We will be on standby for that. We expect to come down to where the festivities take place each morning, and we'll just assess and address as we need to.
Another question. I know some festivities begin actually this weekend. Would the greening of Forsyth Fountain and the Celtic Mass, there are celebrations happening this weekend. Will you guys be upping cleaning?
Sanitation will not. Some of those that are taking place in parks and the like, Mr. Denny will take care of. Okay.
Greenscapes will monitor the area and adjust where necessary. One other prohibited item that I can't believe I have to mention, but I do, and that is personal portalettes are not allowed. We've had people bring those down. We will provide portalettes on the street, so please do not bring those down. You will be asked to leave. So the city of Savannah provides those throughout the weekend. Use the ones that are provided on the street. But in terms of the additional cleaning, we will monitor and adjust our schedules as we see necessary. And I would say that events like the Celtic Heritage Festival and the like, they are required to take care and maintain their own trash and litter and garbage. And we ask that all of our event organizers take that very seriously and help us keep it clean.
Susan, quick question about the food trucks. How are those being selected this year, with there being limited space?
Yeah, so we have, fortunately, 3 years ago when, I guess it was longer than that, 4 or 5 years ago when I wrote the food truck ordinance, I never thought we'd have 45 local food trucks. It's great industry. And so last week, we sent correspondence out to all the local food trucks, that's Chatham County food trucks, and we had 25 show an interest in being in those 6 spaces. And on Tuesday of this week, we did a lottery. And it was great to see because even the ones that were not selected for the area, they were so happy for the other food truck operators to have this opportunity because this is a growing industry in Savannah. And so it's nice to see a group of competitors really happy for one another to be able to be a part of something like this.
I'm sure we'll be hearing from also those in the tourism and hospitality industry as far as getting indicators right now. What's been the communication there? What are you hearing that we can expect?
So the Tourism Leadership Council, sent out a message yesterday showing occupancy rates for next weekend, 83 to 85% where they are right now. But I'm happy to share that information with you so that you can accurately convey them.
Anyone else?
Okay. Thank you all very much. We'll see you next week.